Now, this is a good example of brothers pulling their resources together, pulling their minds together. You know, the Grand Monitors, they little newspaper that they have let you know what they doing. They got a calendar on the back letting you know when they had their meetings and what's going on in the community. They got advertisers. This brother right here, Dr. Roseman, is a chiropractor, and he used to advertise on 88.1 FM back in the day. And they also had a black supermarket. Uh, Here we go, right here. They no longer, they're no longer there because we wouldn't support them. And Metro Foodland was the name of that guy. He advertised on 88.1 FM, and black owned, as you see, if you could read it, black owned and black operated. You know, and here go a brother here with a business. You know, and they all supporting each other in that community. So I'm holding them up as an example to uh, what's going on, uh, what we talking about. Now that's common sense right there. That's common sense. You know, common to the vicinity, common to the area. You know, they be giving block sales, garage sales that last. It goes on 40 block, a 40 block garage sale, and everybody on that block break out uh, what they got to sell. You know, they block off that street, and used to ride down Grand River in the Grand Mountain, Rosedale area, block after block. They had a radio patrol with the Grand Mount Patrol on there. You could peel the sign off the car, magnetic. You know, you put it on your car, and it was a voluntary thing. And they had a whole lot of vacant houses when that housing crash came in 2007, and you had a lot of hustling landlords. Some of them were black, you know, hustling, taking advantage of that. You know, a lot of black realtors, you know, got over off of that deal, and absentee landlords, you know, and so the community would come in and board up the place, and a lot of them were Caucasian Jews, you know, they were in Florida, and then they started making rules that if you don't attend to your property, that you'll get fined so much, but they never did really enforce those rules like they should have, but the neighborhood enforced them, and they would keep the lights on and patrol the streets, make sure that, you know, they didn't have no squatters. But then they made a thing saying that you could squat if you take care of the joint, you know. And some brothers did it. Then they changed it. Said we don't want no squatters. And some brothers had been squatting for a couple of years, and then the sheriff come and they had a standoff. So, you know, we need to enforce that, you know, have that back again, because, you know, the houses is deteriorating, and some of them houses is good. And since I moved in Harper Woods, you got White Flight, you know, you got a business area, uh, you got Eastland, and that's barely holding on, and we got a business area on Kelly Road, and you know, you see vacant storefronts up there. One day I'm gonna take the camera up there and show you. You know, none of the Chaldeans and the so-called Muslim brothers, they gonna come in, you know, and they selling you the Arab and the Muslim brothers. You know, I ain't mad at them. You know, because you're not taking care of you don't want the responsibility of owning your own. Uh, we know that it's hard to get bank loans and stuff like that, but you ain't got to get bank loan. All you got to do is pull your resources together. But they got us so uh, divided. They got families divided. You know, they got the man and the woman divided. You know, we can't raise our children right because we're divided among each other. You know, brothers, you know, they done lost their minds. You know, they shooting up their woman and killing a brother. You know, he up here killed his whole family. His uh, wife's children and his children. You know, and you know he lost his mind. You know, and they say whom Allah wished to destroy, He first make them crazy, make them mad. And we got a lot of brothers that's done lost their minds. So, you know, when I was coming up, we had gangs and stuff. You know, because we had to have gangs because we would get shaken down. We had a gang called the Baby Shakers. And you go to the show and be standing in line, and they come outside the show, because it'll always be a long line outside the show, and they come and shake you down. So I had me a little gang, and so I got with a veteran gang leader, and he was breaking me in to be a leader of a gang. And we would see two brothers walking down the street. One is real big, 6 foot something, and one would be real short, 5 foot something. The short guy was the leader. So the brother schooled me. He said, "Man, go. We gonna punk these brothers out." He said, get on that side of the brother. You know, if you want to be in my gang, that's what you're gonna have to do. Walk up to the big brother, bust him dead in his nose, aim good, draw some blood. You know, try to knock that brother out. And so since I was up under the dude, when I walked up to him, I went up on him, busted his nose, and he fell to his knees. So that punked out the short guy. The guy said, "Damn, this dude walked up to him. He must be crazy." And so that's a strategy um, that we used back in the day. You know, we didn't use so much gun violence, but we had guns now. Some brothers got their legs blowed off with a gauge. You know, some brothers got shot coming out of a church, like Al Capone and them. That ain't funny, but because brothers would see them movies, you know, James Cagney, and they used to do, you know, try to be like James Cagney, be like they got guns all the time. So I got this saying off of Hustle and Flow: the fight in the dog. It's not the size of the dog in the fight that counts, but the size of the fight in the dog. Soul Power, Hustle and Flow. You know, when I watch movies, you know, I don't see what other people see. Everybody was talking about Hustle and Flow. Shouldn't have got. It was a lot of strategy in Hustle and Flow because our people, you know, a lot of our people are in the streets, you know, trying to hustle and flow. And just like Superfly was a hustler. But what he do? He turned it into something positive, you know. And plus he outwitted the man, what we call the man, the devil. He outwitted the devil, you know. and Hustle and Flow outwitted the devil, you know, and he used the devil's woman against the devil, like the devil used our women against us, you know, because she could go in places by her being a white woman, you know, that, you know, she was like his agent. So, you know, we don't use our common sense, man. And so the ones that use their common sense, they got the golden touch. Now look, I read to you where in one of my other videos where they took us off the gold standard. That's where this Constitution come in. The Zionists took us out the Constitution with the Federal Reserve. They got all the gold. They got the politicians to make it illegal for you to have gold. And then they took that gold. Now they're selling it back to us. They got you thinking that the paper dollar is worth more than the gold. So you pawn all your gold to get those paper dollars. But if you pull your resources together, where it won't break you to go to the pawn shop. If a whole church do this and a whole neighborhood do this, go to the local pawn shop, because a pawn shop ain't nothing but a neighborhood bank. They charge interest. Get all your gold and silver. A lot of it ain't real, but the pawn shop tell you it's real, and it's, you know, charge you exorbitant prices. But just ways to test this. You could go on YouTube and find out how to test it. Go on, buy all your gold and silver back, melt it down. Don't let them tell you can't do that. Okay, and then make coins out of them and put Elijah's face on it, Muhammad Ali. And then, quickly, before we run out of time, use solar panels. You can make a solar panel factory. My uncle and them was gonna do this. Long back in the 60s, they was gonna build a solar panel factory. They know how to make solar panels back then. But now they done perfected solar energy a little bit more. And it's real simple and cheap to make. You could put Edison out of business. You can do that for the water company. You can do that. You just gotta come up with scientists. These young boys, they can do that. You gotta get them thinking about that though, instead of thinking about selling drugs, because they scientists and economists anyway. And quickly, before we run out of this time, another strategy. Another strategy is to build your own schools. Go back into those schools and take these schools over, rebuild them, and make recreation centers out of them. And plus, you know, make your own schools. You pay tax dollars for this. They said the lottery is supposed to help the school system, but it's, you know, it ain't nothing but a site. You pay tax dollars to the police, and the police, remember this, police can't stop killings. They could catch them. You know, that's the only time the law is when you got a victim. But, you know, they can't stop it. You know, but a neighborhood can slow it down. You know. So I'm going to come back with some more of this and tell you how a neighborhood can slow it down. For one reason, you don't pay your tax dollars for the police to beat you in the head. When you paying tax dollars, you giving them weapons. You pay tax dollars to put cameras on them on them, but they not use. Some stations say they can't, they don't want to use them. You the boss. Your tax dollars the one that pay this. So you got to find a way not to pay tax dollars, not to use your taxes. You know, if they're not gonna beat you in the head with it, stop paying taxes. If they're gonna kill you, stop paying taxes. Peace and love.